Let's tie a extended body midge adult. This is a Tiemco 2487 in size 20, 17-aught uni thread. I'm going to take some cotyledon fibers and thread them through a piece of midge tubing to create the abdomen. See in the background, I've grabbed a bundle of about 20 to 30 cotyledon fibers, and I'm stacking them in my stacker and evening up the tips. When it first comes out of the stacker, that's what it looks like. And then you're just going to wet it down, put a little saliva, and I'm going to bring it to a point, and that's what I'm going to thread into my tubing. I've got a half-inch piece of tan midge tubing. Yes, it will go in there, and if it gets a little fat and it won't go in there, just take some of the fibers out. As you can see in the background, I'm just threading that through right now. Then I'll take a pair of pliers and actually pull. Once I've got a little bit out, I'll pull more of the fibers out of the tubing, and you'll see why in a minute. And you can see that I've taken those cotyledon fibers and pulled them through about half the length of the tubing itself. Now I've got a pair of hemostats that have a wide space grooves into it, and I'm going to heat it up and then crimp my tubing with the cotyledon to create my segmentation. And see, I'm taking that and I'm crimping it with that's a heated pair of hemostats. So you can see the segmentation. That's my abdomen. Now I want my fibers in my tail to splay a little bit. So what I'm going to do is take another pair of hemostats. You don't have to do this, it just looks cool. And they've got no teeth on them at all. And I'm going to crimp it just at the end. It actually melts the midge tubing and seals it at that end. Sometimes a little trial and error helps, mainly because you don't know how much heat it's going to take. You can't overdo it, but see how I've got that? It splays the fibers out, and that's my tail and abdomen section. I'm going to tie that abdomen section in, and I go to the back a little bit, build a little bit of thread up there just to lift that abdomen section up. And lash it to the top of the hook. Now I'm going to take a piece of 6X fluorocarbon tippet material, and I'm going to do a reverse parachute. This I learned from my buddy Roy Christie. I love this technique for creating the hackle. Now I take and crimp a little bit at the end of a piece of 6X fluorocarbon. And I tie that in really, really well because it's going to be the base of my post for my hackle. And I create a loop. Now I'll do a small loop at first and wrap about 6 or 7 times. I'm going to attach it to my gallows tool, which you can't see, it's just out of frame. Make an adjustment, and then I'm going to really wrap that sucker down. At least 10 more wraps. As you can tell right there, I get some really good segmentation using that crimp. You could go to a finer hemostat, but I think it works just fine. Now I'm tying in my done hackle, and I'm going to wrap it around that post. And first I'm going to put a little bit of dubbing just around the thorax area of the fly. Got some stray fibers I'm going to trim back. I learned how to dub a long time ago. Should have taken less than that, but take as much dubbing as you think you need, cut it in half, and then cut it in half again. And just twist on one way, one direction. Create my head of my fly. Tie off. And trim. Take a bit of marker, color the head. This is just dark tan, 80 markers. Now I'm going to take my hackle and wrap it around 6 or 7 times around that base and build and go up. Up that post, which is actually my fluorocarbon tippet. And then I'm going to open up that loop that I've created and go through twice. Right there, I'm untwisting that loop so I can get into it. See, I passed it through once. See how I keep the wraps down lower, and then I go through one more, go round once, and then split going through that, or actually half wrap. Push those fibers down and in through that loop. Now I'm pulling. I'm going to release off my gallows and pull on that tag end. And that creates my parachute. Trim off my excess tippet and trim off my hackle. That's my extended body midge adult.